Welcome to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. My name is Chuck Solanas, and I'm joined by Dr. Jacob Kashiwagi. We're very excited to have him on another time for these in-person podcast specials. So if you can see us on camera, you know that we're in the same room.
Yes, and we're even learning from last time.
Yep.
Now Chuck has moved back so he doesn't look so big.
Yeah. There was a accidental visual effect where I looked a lot larger than Dr. Jacob.
Which he is normally, but maybe not that big as you saw.
Yeah. Anyway.
And we also have lighting.
Yeah, a little better lighting. So, hey, we learn. We're growing. We constantly change.
Everyone wants happiness and success, and we know how to get you there. Come listen to the Leadership Society of Arizona as we teach a proven logic to help you simplify life, overcome challenges, and predict the future. You're listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast.
All good. Well, today I want to ask a question that a lot of people get confused. And
Okay.
So I've been confused about this recently even. And so I wanted to get your opinion on it. So,
Okay.
Is love acceptance?
Oh, that's a short answer is yes.
Okay.
Long answer is, well, why is it acceptance? Well, here's the thing. What is the purpose of love? What's the result? What are we looking for when you look for love, or when people look for love? What is the result of that? Why do they want love? What does it bring?
I would think that it would bring happiness. It would bring
Yes.
peace. It
Yes.
would bring joy, I guess.
Yeah, they want a relationship, or they want to feel like they're appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
They want to feel like someone understands them. They want to feel special.
Okay.
They want to feel that somebody sees value in who they are.
Okay.
All of these things, when you really look down to it, you can't have unless you accept the person. So, for example, they want to feel good about who they are. Well, if someone doesn't accept you for who you are, you're not going to feel good about yourself, right? The other things is they want to feel special about who they are. Well, if you don't accept someone and really understand who they are, then you can't believe they're special because you don't know who they are. Or if you don't accept it, then you can't make them feel special because you don't even like them. Right? So everything dealing with love, you have to be able to accept a person in order to make or get the result of what people are looking for in love.
Okay. So you're saying that if you don't understand a person, you can't really love them either. So you're saying that what if I understand that this person is one way and they're actually another way? So is my love fake at that point, or is it a misguided love?
Well, love can never be fake, but there's a degree of love. So there could be a scale, and this is 100% and this is 0%.
Okay.
The more you don't realize who a person is, probably your love is more towards the 0%. No one's ever at 0 because people are human beings, so at least you understand they got 2 arms and 2 legs. But but you might not be at 100%. And there have been many times where people have felt or thought someone was a certain way for a long time, and then they find out the person's totally different, and the relationship and the love in the relationship, you can tell it wasn't there, or it's not there, because they didn't really know who the person was.
Because at that point they don't accept that person anymore.
Well, they really never did. They just didn't know it. And so they were loving something that really wasn't there. And when they find out it really is not there, then they find out what was really there, and there was no love there.
So you're saying that if I love someone or something, it's because I have a certain understanding of what that someone or something is.
Yes.
And as soon as that understanding changes from what I'm expecting or to love or to accept, then I didn't really love or accept what they actually were. I was loving or accepting what my expectation of them was.
You're right. And that happens many times.
Okay.
So the more you know who a person is, the more you can love them.
Mm-hmm.
The less you understand who a person is, and you have an idea that's inaccurate in your mind, the more you're just loving this idea and not really the person.
Right. Okay. So let's walk through an example. So let's say, for example, you think that your significant other should not like drinking soda, for example.
Okay.
My significant other should not like drinking soda. And as soon as you learn that they actually drink soda, then you're like, I don't love you anymore.
Well, no, it's just that everything's a degree, right? Drinking soda is not like everything about the person.
Yeah.
But once you find out that actually this person loves drinking soda and I never knew that, you're beginning to realize that you didn't know this person as well as you thought.
Yeah.
And so you realize that you're loving more of an idea in your mind of what you thought this person was than actually loving your spouse or your significant other.
Yeah.
As much as you really did.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're saying that idea is what we're in love with. We're not really in love with the other person.
Yeah, who the person really is. At least that incorrect idea that you had in your mind. You loved that you thought she didn't like drinking soda, but she really does, so you didn't really love her for that.
Oh, okay. So one other aspect that it's like, there's a bit of a gap, in the expectations versus the reality. And so, if, for example, you are changing or growing or becoming a different person, and your significant other does not feel like changing or growing or becoming a different person, then oftentimes that results in lost love, right?
Many times. In fact, nowadays, divorce rates are very, very high among older people right now. And that's probably the reason, because as you grow and as you have children and you go through experiences in life, you change.
Okay. So you can never really have a guarantee that the other person that's with you, if it's your friends or if it's your family or if it's your spouse or significant other, then you can't ever have a guarantee that they're going to change at the same rate that you are.
They never will change at the same rate.
So how do you end up loving them or accepting them, given that you're changing at a different rate, you're becoming a different person, and maybe you don't have the same interests anymore?
The only way to keep love in a relationship where both or one person is growing quite rapidly or changing quite rapidly is both people have to become more accepting. That's the only way. And usually if you are growing and becoming a better person, or I shouldn't say better person, but a more understanding person, your acceptance of others should increase.
Right.
But that's the only way, because if you just keep your view on this is the only thing I like, well, everyone's changing. So if you never change what you like, then yeah, eventually someone's going to become something different. And then you definitely won't love them because you only love this, right?
Yeah.
But hopefully as you get older, your love for things it expands. So
Right.
you can love more and more different things.
Hmm.
And hopefully that encompasses your spouse and anybody else in your life as they grow up.
Got it. Yeah, so I mean, you're saying that the reason why people fall out of friendships, people fall out of love, for their family, friends, and significant others is because they have lost that understanding of the other person. They've lost that understanding.
Yes, they can't accept who the other person is.
Hmm.
And that's really what it is. And this happens with parent-child relationship always.
Yeah.
Child grows up under a rule system that the parents make. The parents think, oh, my child is this way because they're following the rules. And then as soon as the child gets freedom, they act totally different. And the parent's like, what happened to my child? I don't love this type of person.
Right.
And the child says, well, mom and dad, this is who I am. And the parents are shocked.
Yeah.
And they say, well, then I'm going to disown you because unless you're this way, I can't accept you being this way.
Mm.
And that's a tough thing. But it happens all the time. But the only way to keep the love in any type of relationship is that you have to become more and more accepting of more and more actions, more and more things.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm not accepting of an action or a thing that someone else does it mean that I don't love them?
Short answer is yes.
Hmm.
And a lot of people, they use the word or I heard the word condone.
Yeah.
If I don't condone an action, can I still love them? Well, it all depends on what your definition is of condoning, right? If your definition of condone is that, are you willing to do the same action that they're doing? No, I love a lot of people that I would never do what they do.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, someone's out there drinking soda. Well, I don't drink soda.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I'll never drink soda. So I'll never, in that sense, I'll never condone because I'll never do it. But if they're drinking soda, do I look any more down upon them? Do I not accept them for doing that? Do I feel like they're doing something bad by doing that?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
I don't. It's everyone's different, so everyone needs different things in life, and so I can not do that and never want to do that, but still accept other people for doing it. And that's how I've learned to still be able to love people. Is that even though I might not do it, I learned that everybody is different, so I never say that what someone else is doing is bad or wrong. Even though it might be detrimental to their body, it might be detrimental in terms of their relationships, towards their success in life. But, I realize it's what they have to do. Because if they could do any better, they'd be doing better, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a kind of a earth-shattering kind of comment or remark, because a lot of people, they think condone means just accepting that, and they feel that they can still love and accept someone, even though they don't. They basically say you're wrong, you're terrible. I can't believe you do this, saying that they're bad people or an evil person.
Yes.
And you can't really love someone if you're saying that that person's evil, what they're doing is wrong or morally degradable.
Yes, it's really a funny thing, right? Because really what you're looking for is, why is love even valuable? Love is only valuable as if it achieves the outcome and it gives to someone what they're looking for, which is people want love because love brings peace about who you are. Love brings value in who you are. Love brings a feel that somebody else cares for you, understands you, accepts you.
Yeah.
So if you're telling somebody, you're wrong, I don't like how you're looking, I don't like how you talk, I don't like how you do this, then it doesn't make them feel at peace.
Right.
It doesn't make them feel special. It doesn't make them feel any of those things. And so that type of love is not even valuable because it brings the opposite of what people are looking for from love. It brings, well, you're only valuable if you do what I want you to do. And everyone knows that's not a good feel.
Oh, we know how it feels, but oftentimes people say, I do this because I love you. I'm telling you to change because I love you.
That's a good one, because in reality what they're really telling them is they might feel like they're doing it because they love them, but really they're saying I will love you if I get you to do something different than what you're doing.
So it's conditional in that sense.
That's exactly what. The more and more you try to change who someone is, really it's I'll love you on the condition of you change, or if you're different. But if you only love them if they're different, then you're not loving them.
Right.
You're loving an idea, and it is a really tough thing though.
Or you're loving an expectation of them that they're not meeting.
And it's tough. Most people don't accurately understand another person. And so you're all on that scale. That's why I don't say you don't love them, but you might not love them as much as you think if you don't really understand who they are, if you don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. You need to be able to figure them out.
So someone at kind of expert level love and acceptance can be around people that are doing things that they would never do.
Yes.
That are doing things that maybe they're thinking, never in a million years would I do something like this, but I enjoy, I guess, being around them enough that you want to spend time with them.
Yes, and it might not, it might just be, I would never do what you're doing. But a lot of times love is associated with selflessness. And it could be that even though you don't enjoy what they're doing, you would never do what they're doing, but you're willing to spend time with them and do things for them because you realize that they need someone to listen to them, or they need something. And you're okay with them being who they are and still servicing them for that.
It's kind of an earth-shattering thing. It's like saying that a whole lot of people who have always been said that you've got a problem, you're telling them you've got no problem. You're saying there's really no issue with you. I accept what you do, even if it's wrong to other people, even if maybe it's against the law, or maybe it's just something that it's not really helpful to them. You're saying, I appreciate or I accept what you're doing, and I'm willing to help how I can.
Yes.
But I'm not willing to do certain things. I'm not willing to be a certain way other than who I am. So it's kind of a self-confidence about you that you just say, I know what I stand for, I know what I believe.
Yes.
But I'm still okay with interacting and being around people that are different.
Yes, and everybody is always improving in life and moving forward. And so, I always tell parents with children, if it's better to, if say your child is doing something that's not the best, maybe like playing video games all the time, say, well, it's better for your child to know that you're always going to be there for them. You don't look down on them. You're not going to threaten to take away everything they love. It's better that they know that you'll just be there for them, so that when they want to grow and they want to do something different, they know to come to you, than to always tell them how bad they are and always try to force them to do things so that they don't feel loved. And then when something really bad does happen, they don't come to you.
Right.
Right? Then, at least when people know that you accept them, that they know when they want to get better, that they know where they can go. And they feel comfortable with you then. And yeah, so it's a tough thing.
Okay.
That's why everybody doesn't have a great capacity to love everybody, because it really takes a lot, and it really takes yourself changing your opinions on things to accept more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you become a little more accepting of people? How do you become top level
Yes.
accepting, loving of person?
Well, the first thing is, such as being able to say no, is practice.
Yeah.
Right? Practicing accepting other people's views, what other people do. So, for example, I'm a very clean person.
Mm-hmm.
And when I feed my son, I'm very clean about it. I don't let my son do too much unless it's in a very enclosed environment. And even then, I limit how much of a mess the little guy can make.
Yeah, because he's 2, or is he 1 now?
He's just about 2.
Just about 2.
But my wife, on the other hand, she'll give him the whole plate of stuff, and he just let him walk all over with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it will make a complete mess. And this is a good example how I would never do that,
Mm-hmm.
but she does it.
Mm-hmm.
And it always makes a big mess, but she's good at cleaning up, and sometimes I do have to clean up. But I accept that that's how she operates, and that's what she does, which is perfectly fine. And, at some point, I might be a little frustrated with that. Like, hey, you should really be doing something different than this. But I practice trying to say nothing. Once I gave her my piece of, hey, just give him a little bit, don't give him the whole bowl. Right. And I see she keeps giving him the whole bowl. I know that's how she operates. That's what she can do. Right. Accept it. Don't say anything else. And I have to practice that.
Yeah. So you're shaking in your seat like, why is she giving him the whole bowl?
Yes, I see the whole bowl of watermelon in front of him, and I just have to tell myself, you think that spilling all of that watermelon on the floor is a bad thing. You think that making this big mess and letting him have access to like a whole watermelon is a bad thing. But that's not necessarily the case. So Jacob, you just sit and you just do your work. Not worry about it.
This is your internal conversation.
Yeah. But there's a million things like that every day. So the first thing is you can practice.
Right.
The experience of it will allow you to be open to more and more things. And I've seen a lot in my life already on how people deal with kids and students of all ages. So I've had a lot of practice with this. The second thing, to truly learning to love people, is one of the reasons why we get so worried about other people is because we don't really accept who we are. And so one of the things you can do is learn to start looking at the things that you can't stand about yourself. And everybody has these things. I've not met one person that doesn't have this stuff. As you get older and more experienced and better at it, you don't hate yourself as much, but you still have things that just like you can't stand about yourself. One of the things is to find those things and work on being okay with it, on realizing that you're okay too. The more actually you become okay with who you are and understand yourself, which is the easiest person because you have the most information, the easier it's going to be to accept others. The more you realize you're making mistakes, the more you're willing to overlook other people's mistakes.
Right.
The third thing is you can't do this by yourself, so definitely get a mentor. Find someone you can talk to. A mentor is not meant to actually teach you anything per se. A mentor is a person that you can just it's like a therapist, someone you can talk to, and at the end of it, you can be like, okay, I got everything off my chest, I feel better now. The more you have someone who you can talk to like that, and they don't have to say a lot, but maybe they'll say one thing, it will say, oh yeah, you're right.
Right.
A mentor should be someone who can build you up, who can give you ideas and information that tells you, oh yeah, I'm okay. Other people are okay. Life is amazing. Right? That's the third thing. And the fourth thing you can always do, and this is probably, I don't know, this might be a harder thing to do, is go and actually practice on not only people in your family, but maybe other people. Practice caring about other people. Practice trying to help other people around you and being aware of that. The more people you try to help, and it could be just like, I was just at the grocery store somewhere the other day, and I saw someone, and they're around me, I see them trying to look for something. So a lot of times, you just let that go. You don't try and help them at all. It's someone else. You don't even know this person. But I saw the person. So if it was my family member, I'd ask them, what are you looking for? You need help. So with this person, I do the same thing. Hey, I see you're looking. Are you lost? Do you need something? And so then we see this conversation on what they're actually doing. They weren't looking for something. It was something else. But in doing that, in being aware and trying to help strangers around you as you go from place to place, it will give you more understanding about people and why people do things, what they're doing, and it will open your mind and make it easier to love. Now that's really hard because it's not something that is forced upon you. Like family is hard, but they're forced upon you, right? You're not going to get rid of them. You got to practice.
Well, not everyone agrees with you there, but
that is true. But strangers is something you actually have to go out of your way and out of your comfort zone for. So, but that is a great way to learn to love people as well.
Yeah, I see a lot of people angry in their chair, going out and trying to help people that they're not really comfortable trying to help.
Yes, and it is tough. It's like you see someone, maybe like parenting in a way that you don't agree with.
Yeah.
And it might make you really mad, but if you reach out to that person and say, hey, are you having problems with your child or whatever it might be, they're gonna start talking with you. And then you might find out why they're handling their child the way they're handling them. And it's all about information. The more information you get on why they're doing what they're doing, then the more you're going to love and accept what they're doing.
Yeah, sounds really tough. Sounds really tough to really perfect. I know that some people get pretty high up there. They get to a high level of acceptance and appreciation for people of all walks of life. But where I'm at, I'm kind of the person that's shaking in my chair, having that internal coping conversation, thinking, am I gonna make it? Am I going to calm down enough not to say anything offensive or wrong?
And it's true. And if you look, it's a funny thing as you're talking. For some reason, I'm thinking of all the divisive issues in the day.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them today. Because the world is changing. It's like people. When someone changes, you got to learn to accept how they're changing. And it's also like the world. If you want to love life, life is always changing. So you have to continually expand what you accept in life, or else you're just going to hate life. Because like in the world today, right? Back when I was young, there was no LGBTQ community, right? It was a certain way. Your sexuality was a certain way. But now, right, it's a huge community. Mm-hmm. And if you don't open your view and accept what's going on in life, then you become really worried and stressed.
Yeah.
There's no love. But as you become more accepting of the world and the changes going on in the world, you don't have to want to do it yourself, but to accept it will allow you to not only love people, but really love your life as well.
Right. And those people can feel appreciated in the way that they want to feel appreciated.
And they need to, because they're part of life.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's part of this human family.
Yes. But it is hard because there's so many of these issues.
Right.
Political, whatever it might be.
Yeah. So not condoning it, what is it, condoning? No, it's condemning it. Not saying that it's wrong.
I was like, what are you saying, Chuck?
Yeah, sorry. So not condemning it, not saying like you're an evil person, you're a terrible person if you believe one sort of thing, or if you are a certain skin color. Some people even get that far too. So it's tough. Yeah, it's tough to overcome all these biases that you have when you're young. Of course, that is how you're raised, how you are molded into society, and then you got to change all those things. And that acceptance takes a lot of time.
It is true.
Yeah. I did think of that other podcast that we had where when you see something in another person that you don't appreciate or like, often that's something that you don't appreciate or like about yourself. So if you're ever in a situation where I don't know what I hate about myself, then you can think back on an instance where you got really offended or really upset with another person.
Yes.
And say, okay, why was I getting so upset? Maybe it has something to do with what I appreciate or don't appreciate about myself.
And it's very true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Anyway, just a little plug. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Jacob. I appreciate your time. Thank you, listeners, for listening, and viewers for watching. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. It would be great if you could take a moment to write us a review. For any questions, comments, or topics that you would like to have addressed on the show, email the team at leadaz.org. To learn more about the Leadership Society of Arizona, visit us at leadaz.org.